Hi, hello, welcome back. I know what it looks like. It looks like I've been wearing the same shirt in every video this month. I assure you that is not the case. When I love something, I just buy a bunch of it, so I have 5 of this exact same shirt.
Actually, I was thinking about clothes that I was just gonna give to Goodwill anyway.
But I thought to kind of wrap up this month focused on health and fitness, we could do a little Q&A because there were some things that didn't make it into the previous videos that I know y'all are curious about. So I posted one of those question boxes on Instagram and I've pulled out 10 questions that I feel like will cover all the bases. You know what I mean? So we're gonna start with dphil022 who asked, how do you figure out your macros? Now, I have shared about this in prior videos, specifically the last video where I did a behind the scenes of how I track my macros. I shared that I use the macro calculator Macros Inc. Let me just say, you should never have to pay for your macros to be calculated. There's tons of free calculators, but they are all gonna give you just slightly different numbers. When I first started tracking macros, I used MyFitnessPal and I just went off of the macros that the app gave me. Don't do that. They are almost never accurate. They're not a good baseline. Instead, use a macro calculator where you can input your stats, your activity level, the amount you're exercising, and so on. My personal favorite is Macros Inc. In addition to the free calculator on their website, you also can join their free Facebook group. You can post your macros in there and one of their coaches will check them for you. And they also have a free ebook on how to get started with macro tracking. I have zero affiliation with them. They don't even know I exist, or at least I don't think they know I exist. I'm in the Facebook group, but I just love them as a free resource. Now, once you actually get your macros from that calculator, you need to implement them and be patient. You might look at them and go, I have been eating way less than that and I haven't been losing weight. There's no way I can eat that much and still lose weight. Or there's no way I can eat that many carbs and lose weight. First of all, carbs are not the enemy. They are just an energy source for your body. I personally eat like 300 grams of carbs a day. But that aside, when it comes to the amount you've been eating, what's important with tracking macros is that you're doing it accurately. I shared about this in my last video, so you can go back to get a better idea of what I mean by that. But I'm gonna put an image on the screen just to show you if you are not measuring and tracking everything you're eating, you could be way underestimating the amount you think you're eating, and you're actually eating a lot more, which would be why you're not reaching the goal that you have. So then you just get a food scale, start measuring your food in grams and track it in an app, which I have another question about, but Macros Inc. does have kind of a 4-week guide to get started so that it doesn't seem as daunting. I'll put the image of that on the screen as well. And if you're curious about, well, do I actually need a food scale? Can't I just eyeball the portions or use like tablespoons and cups and things like that to measure? I'm gonna put another image on the screen just to show you why it is important to measure your food in grams versus using volume measurements like tablespoons, cups, and so on, because it is far more accurate and it will get you the results that you want much faster. The second question is from Rickert4. What is the best food tracker, especially a free one? If a paid one, which one do you prefer? So the best one is going to be the one that works best for you, that's easy to use and that you can use consistently. But what I personally look for in a food tracker is the ability to enter in custom entries. Once again, I'm gonna put a graphic on the screen just to show you the importance of utilizing custom entries versus going off of the database or like scanning barcodes, or even just going off what it says on the package in terms of calorie count, because a lot of packages will deduct fiber and it will appear like it's lower in calories than it really is.
Wow, a lot of calories.
But anyway, my personal favorite app is My Macros Plus or MM Plus. It's an orange icon, and what I really love about it is paid, but it's only a one-time fee. So it's $2.99 to download the app. There is no monthly fee or yearly fee. They do have a pro version. It is completely not necessary. I upgraded at one point and then realized like I don't need this, and I went back to just the normal free version, or rather the version you get with just the $2.99 app. A lot of other apps, the free version doesn't allow you to do certain things like creating custom entries, or they have really expensive like monthly or yearly fees. I know MyFitnessPal used to be really good for the free version, and then they changed it. So now you need the paid version to do the good stuff in the app. If you're interested in how to use My Macros Plus, again, check out my last video because I show you step by step how to get set up with it and then how I use it. I've been using it for almost 3 years, and after trying probably 20 plus different apps, it is by far my favorite. The next question is from DV_Maddie. What lifts and exercises are included in your workouts? How do you decide your workouts? So for this month, I purposefully focused on nutrition more so than exercise, because a lot of people think to have a healthy lifestyle, they have to just exercise a lot more and they have to work out every day. And in reality, your nutrition is a much bigger piece of the puzzle than your activity level. But I personally have a powerlifting coach who programs my workouts for me. So I am not deciding my workouts. He is just giving me a program to follow, and I go in and do those exercises. If you're interested in what that looks like, last December, so December of 2021, I did a week of workouts video. So you can see roughly what a week looks like for me. It is powerlifting style training. So it's mostly squat, bench, and deadlift. And then I have accessory movements with dumbbell lunges and tricep extensions and some cables and stuff like that. But I'm not deciding it. He comes up with it and I just follow it. Now, he is taking on new clients. So if you are interested and you want to powerlift and you can afford a coach, because yes, it is an investment, I will link his website, Ironbound Strength, down below. You can get signed up. You'll even see, I gave him a testimonial, so you'll see me on the website. That's how you know you're in the right place. But if you can't afford that, I completely understand. There are tons of other options when it comes to programs for your workout. Let me just say, the first few years of lifting, I was not following a program. I just went in the gym, did whatever I wanted to. If I didn't know how to do a certain exercise, I would Google it, watch a YouTube video, and learn it. But one of my biggest regrets was not following a program focused on progressive overload, making sure I'm lifting a couple more reps or a little bit heavier each time in order to increase my strength. So if I could go back, that's one thing I would change. Is all those years where I was just dilly-dallying in the gym, I would have gotten on a program. So if you are wanting to strength train with like dumbbells and barbells and you just don't know where to get started, I highly recommend the book Starting Strength. I have added it to my Amazon health and fitness favorites list, which I will have down below, but I'll also just put a direct link to the book down below. But that book is fantastic for explaining strength training, the why behind it, how to do the exercises, and then it has like a beginner program to follow. If that's a little too overwhelming for you, I completely understand. I would recommend checking out Caroline Girvin on YouTube. She has tons of free videos that are great for at-home workouts. You just need like basic dumbbells and things like that. It's not super equipment intensive, but there are other paid versions as well. I have followed a girl named Meg, or she goes by Meg Squats online, but she has an app called Stronger by the Day. It's a monthly fee, but there are tons of workouts on there. She also has great just YouTube videos that you can check out for information as well. And then NATACHA OCEANe, she has great programs on her website. They are paid, but she has ones targeted at different goals, as well as ones with equipment, with no equipment. So you can find things out there to fit your needs. I will link all of those down below so you can check them out. Traveling Teacher 22 asked favorite workout clothes, equipment, and tech/kitchen gadgets. So again, I created an Amazon list. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. That is linked down below. When it comes to clothing, I do love Lululemon leggings. They were an investment, they are expensive, but I've been wearing basically the same 3 pair of leggings for like 4 or 5 years now. So they hold up. But on Amazon, I really love the brand Dragon Fit. They make like these workout shorts that I really like, and I have some tops from there. So I've linked a few of those things on my Amazon list. In terms of equipment, obviously most of the equipment I use is at the gym, but I do have just cheap lifting straps as well as wrist wraps from Amazon. And those are great if you're new to like barbell training and you think you could benefit from those. Otherwise, a foam roller that I highly recommend. I have mine linked. It's by Trigger Point. That's on my list. And then I also have like massage balls that are really nice to like target certain areas, and my Theragun. It was expensive, but I do love it. And then in terms of like kitchen gadgets, a food scale is number one. Mine is in my Amazon store. It's cheap and basic, but it does its job. Other than that, I highly recommend a Ninja Foodie. We got ours about 3 years ago and we love it. We use it to cook almost every meal because it's a slow cooker, an air fryer, a steamer, all these different things in one machine. So it doesn't take up too much space and you can do so many things with it. Oh, and a Ninja blender, which it doesn't have to be Ninja, but I like ours because we have the full-size blender, we have a food processor, and then we have the individual blenders, and I use it a lot to make like ice creams and sauces and things like that. Okay, this next one makes me excited. Sophie Worski, I probably butchered that, I'm so sorry, asked, what exercise helped you to do pull-ups? I just cannot do them. Let's get one thing straight. Pull-ups are hard, especially for females who tend to have less upper body strength than males. I said tend to, not always the case. When I first started, I could not do pull-ups either. I will say just building my upper body strength in general, so doing a lot of like lat pull downs and dumbbell rows, things like that, really helped to improve my pull-ups, as well as just practicing pull-ups. If you're never doing them, they're not gonna get easier. If you can't do a pull-up, start with using like a resistance band so you can wrap it over the bar and then put your feet in it, and it will help to guide you up. There also are like machines at some gyms where you can use it to help you, where you like add the weight and whatnot. Also doing slow negative. So if you can like jump up to the top of the bar and then just slowly lower yourself down, that can really help as well. But one of my best recommendations, I mentioned Meg Squats. She has a fantastic video on how to get your first pull-up. So I will link that down below because it's a great resource. Next question is by travelmore_and_teach. Curious how you built so much muscle lifting heavy, but also appear to have lost fat. So let me just say that even though it looks like it, I was not building muscle and losing fat at the same time. That is very difficult to do. In fact, it's almost impossible unless you are brand new to lifting. If you are brand new to lifting, you, my friend, get to experience something called newbie gains, where essentially you can be in a deficit, losing body fat, and be building muscle at the same time. Keep in mind, building strength and building muscle are two different things. You can build strength without building muscle. But what happens is a lot of people, if they're not new to lifting, they will lose body fat, so their muscles become more visible, you can see them more, and it looks like they built muscle, when in reality, the muscle was there, they just revealed it by lowering their body fat. That's what happened with me. I had already been training and building muscle for a few years, and I technically went through a bulk cycle where I was eating in a surplus, even though I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just stressed from grad school. During that time, I probably built some muscle as well as put on body fat. Once I went into a deficit and lost body fat, it appeared as if I was more muscular, when in reality, the muscle was already there. It was just, you know, hiding below the surface. Now, since then, for about the past 2 years, I've basically just been in maintenance mode. So my intake, the amount of calories I'm putting into my body, matches what my body is burning through my basal metabolic rate, as well as my intentional activity, the food that I'm eating, because you know, thermic effective food, in order to digest, you're burning all of that. They're basically equal. So I'm not gaining any weight, but you can technically recomp. So you can lose a little bit of body fat, build a little bit of muscle at the same time if you are at maintenance. However, it is a very excruciatingly slow process. So for most people, I would recommend doing like a cut cycle and a bulk cycle. So starting with losing body fat, then you can do a bulk where you're in a surplus and you can build muscle, and you can just go back and forth between those. Right now, I'm happy with aesthetically what my body looks like. I'm happy with how it performs, so I'm just eating at maintenance. But most people, I would suggest either doing a cut or a bulk, depending on your goals. Next question is from Brooke Leonard _14. What are your go-to high protein dinners? So let me just say that approach dinners from the perspective of focusing on protein first. So almost every dinner we have revolves around a protein, and I obviously eat meat. So it tends to be like we pick chicken, beef, pork, or some kind of a seafood like scallops or shrimp, and we base the meal around that. If you are vegetarian or vegan, then you would want to pick a protein source like lentils or edamame or tofu, tempeh, whatever, and then same thing, you can base the meal around that. I'm gonna read off of my list because I made a list. So chicken, some of our go-to meals with chicken. We love just doing a plain barbecue chicken with like potatoes and a veggie on the side. Mediterranean bowls, so we will cook up ground chicken with like some Greek spices and we'll put it with shredded lettuce. Sometimes add some chickpeas. We put like pickled onions on it, cucumber, feta cheese, tzatziki, it's delicious. We will make a chicken tikka masala with rice and cauliflower, that's delicious. A chicken brine, which that comes from Carrabba's, but it's chicken with like sun-dried tomatoes and goat cheese, and then we'll just have like a veggie or potato or something on the side. We love to do sweet and sour chicken, Italian chicken with like zucchini and tomatoes on the side, and it's just chicken with Italian seasoning, super easy. When it comes to beef, we love to do beef and broccoli with, again, like rice and broccoli with it. We will do cheeseburger in a bowl, which I've shown in videos before. We'll do taco bowls, so it's basically like a taco, but in a bowl.
Gosh, these tacos are awfully complicated to make.
Egg roll in a bowl where I'll mix a coleslaw mix with ground beef and season it with some hoisin and soy sauce. And then also doing spaghetti with like a beef sauce. For pork, we'll do either pulled pork or just a pork loin that we throw in the oven with some potatoes and veggies. For shrimp, we'll add it into pastas, like a shrimp scampi. We'll make barbecue shrimp, or coconut shrimp is one of our favorites. Also, we make this like lemon shrimp rice dish that's very good. And then I will put a picture on the screen for some other like vegetarian protein sources because I'm not a vegetarian and I'm probably not the best resource for that. Okay, speaking of protein sources, Kathleen Phillip asked, how do you cook your grilled chicken? It's easy protein to stock up on, but it's always dry. So if your chicken is coming out dry, that means you are overcooking it. Now, grilled chicken, technically I bake my chicken or I air fry it a lot. I'm not technically grilling it, but for baking it, I typically will bake it at 400 degrees for between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on the thickness of the piece. And then for the air fryer or air crisper, according to Foodie, I will do, I think it's like 350 degrees for about 12 minutes, like 6 minutes on each side. I'll flip it halfway through. I just double checked my notes. It's 375 degrees, not 350 degrees for the air crisper. The next two go together. Madeline_Gill 1997 asked, how did you have the motivation? And JHalk 810 asked, what gives you the motivation? So first of all, when you love what you're doing, you don't need as much motivation to do it. I love lifting weights. And that's how I knew I found the right thing, because back when I was running, I liked it. I didn't love it. I kind of dreaded going for runs. I felt good after, but I definitely needed motivation to get started. Whereas now I love lifting weights and getting stronger so much. I rarely need motivation to go. Now, there are still days where I don't feel good or I'm dreading going to the gym because I know it's gonna be busy and I still feel awkward in the gym sometimes, but those days are far less frequent than they would be if I was doing something else. Now, in terms of motivation to work out when you're exhausted, when I was teaching, I went to the gym after school and it was my like decompression time. I looked forward to it because I know when I got to the gym, I got to put in headphones, jam to some music, and just be by myself. And after talking all day and teaching all day, it felt good just to kind of be in my own world, and I looked forward to that. But some other recommendations. First of all, have a goal to work toward. So that could be signing up for a race, or in my case, like a powerlifting meet. But another way to have a goal is just to track your progress. So maybe setting a strength goal or something that you want to accomplish performance-wise. Maybe you want to get your first pull-up, and then tracking your progress toward that will increase your motivation because you can see that what you're doing is working and you're moving closer to that goal. Also, I think it's helpful to have, a really good playlist. If music is your thing and you listen to music when you work out, I make a new playlist about once a month or sometimes I just delete some songs and add a few new ones, but I love my playlist and it gets me hyped, and I will listen to it on the car on the way there, and then once I get there, I put in my headphones and I just love it. Also, if you're motivated by food, like me, maybe your favorite snack you eat as your pre-workout. I actually learned this within the Macros Inc. Facebook group. Someone said they don't like getting up in the morning to work out, but they would have a Rice Krispie treat as their pre-workout. It's a great source of carbs, and they looked forward to it every morning. So you can plan like a really good snack to have beforehand. And of course, you can always invest in like new workout clothes. You want clothes that you feel good in and comfortable and confident in, but there will still be some days where it's literally like taking it one step at a time. And on those days, I will literally tell myself, okay, just get changed for the gym. And then once I'm changed, it's like, okay, just take your stuff to the car. And then it's like, okay, just drive to the gym. And then it helps to have a plan. So once you get there, you know exactly what you're doing, and having that start with like a simple warm-up routine can help ease you into it, because you're like, I'm just gonna go in, walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes and start stretching. And once you're there and you're moving your body, it's easier to keep it going. But if you need to, try to find an accountability buddy, whether that's a trainer or a friend that's gonna go with you, or maybe you check in with them through text, send a picture of yourself at the gym. That can definitely help too. The final question I thought was very important to include. It's by It's a Cat's Life _15. How do you avoid getting obsessive with fitness to the point where it's not healthy? Hi, hello, I'm Michelle and I have an obsessive personality. I have 100% been there. When I was running, at one point, I decided I was gonna run every day for a year. I also decided I was gonna run a marathon in every state, and it resulted in me getting injured from overuse. And it also resulted in me not enjoying running because it started to feel like a chore. So one of the first things I had to do was ditch that like all or nothing mentality and realize that it wasn't serving me, because it wasn't sustainable. If I have to go 100% towards something, or I don't want to do it at all, eventually you get burnt out, right? What I'm doing now works for me because tracking macros, first of all, nothing's off limit. And even then, I enjoy tracking my food because I know that it helps my body feel its best. And with that being said, I don't force myself to track every single day. I sprinkle in untracked days, whether it's around holidays or big events, someone's coming into town and I want to take them to my favorite food places. I typically take at least one untracked day a week where I just eat intuitively. I eat what I want to eat, what I'm hungry for, what I'm craving. And over time, that has led me to following this for 3 years now because it's sustainable. I also have just these little reminders, like in my phone, I have them in the Notes app, but I also just repeat them in my head that help remind me of this. So for example, more is not always better. It's that idea of even too much sun causes a desert, or too much ice cream creates a stomach ache. And so more of something doesn't always give you better results. Sometimes more is just more. I also love the quote, "Diamonds are created under pressure, but bread dough rises when you let it rest." It's just that reminder of you don't always have to be pushing harder and harder. Rest and recovery is equally important. My coach will always remind me the best workout is one you can recover from. There's no point in, driving your body into the ground if you can't recover from it. And then personally, when it comes to like the food aspect, I always tell myself memories over macros. So whether it's a holiday, as I mentioned, or a friend coming into town, those memories are more important than me sticking to my macros to a T. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be continuing this lifestyle forever because it helps me live my best life and it keeps me happy. And so that doesn't mean being 100% on every single day. I can always get back on track tomorrow. I have the tools, I have the knowledge. So taking a few days or even a week for a vacation off of tracking doesn't matter because I can get right back on track and it's not the end of the world. Okay, that is it. Hopefully that answered most of the questions that you had along the way, but of course, if there's anything I didn't cover, leave it down below. I tend to respond to comments within the first 48 hours, so if you're watching this right away, you have the best chance of me responding, but I hope it was helpful for you, and if it was, please give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one.